Hi everybody, welcome to Ease of Programming channel. Actually, in today's video we're gonna work on building an API that performs the CRUD operations, which stands for create, read, update and delete. So we are going to build this without any extra packages. We are going to use only Golang building code. So the results we're gonna get is this. So I'm here using Postman. We have this is the payload for the project. We have GetUsers, get one user, DeleteUser, UpdateUser and CreateUser. So if we want to try this, we have a link to our server, and we can get all users. This is fake user, so only for demonstration. Here we have 11 users with first name, last name and ID. We can get one user. If you want, for example, get the first one, we pass the ID and we get that first one. If we want the last one, which is 11, and we get that 11. If you want 12, it shows you that the user with ID 12 not found, with the not found status. If you want to delete the user, let's delete the first one. Here we go, content was deleted. Let's see that. If you want to get the user with the ID 1, so there is no user with ID 1. If you want to, alright, we have the user with ID 2. If you want to update a user, let's say you want to update user with ID 2 with something like this. Let's see before what's the, here we go, we have first name 2, last name 2. So if you want that user to be ease of programming, everything should in programming should name as this, ease of programming. So let's do this. Okay, ease of programming. Okay, so we have that. Let's check, and boom, that works. Let's create a new user. Let's test user with last name test. It's just for demonstration. This is create. So when we are creating, we don't need the ID, only user create, post and the payload. This is the payload, so perform the post. Alright, so once created, we need this is the last one with the ID. This could be fixed. And delete. Let's delete that user with the ID 12, 11. Okay, so yeah, let's test. Yeah, we have the ID. Let's delete again the other one. Alright, yeah, looks everything works perfectly. So let's build this project from scratch, as I said, without any package, extra package or fancy packages like Jane, like Cobra. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, so we are going to start building our project. So here we are at our main path directory, where we are storing all our Golang projects. That goes from source github.com. This is the standard for Go programmers. So you need to name a folder github.com and then your username in GitHub. And first thing we're gonna do is to actually create our folder that will host our code. So we're going to name it mkadir, make the directory, and gonna name it CRUD API. Alright, so cd CRUD API. Alright, we are inside our folder. Let's open that that folder in VS Code. So easy way to do that is to type code and dot, which will open all the content of CRUD API files in the VS Code. So here we go. We have our project with folder CRUD API open in VS Code. The first thing we're gonna do is to run our project with a hello world, just to get some dopamine, to get familiarized with our project. So we're gonna start by building our main. Let's go file. So as you know here, we first thing we're gonna do is to take package main. We are not going to use many packages since it's microservices that only has one directory. If you know that packages is a way that Golang structured folders. So we are going to hold or store all our files in the main package, which is main. So we're not going to structure in different packages. So just to be easy this is the main purpose for this tutorial, is to make it easy and build something that works. So package main, we are going to import first package we're going to is log, to log our processes. So then create func main. This is the start of our project. Every Golang project has the main function. So let's make it easy. So let's do log dot print with new line. So hello world. So let's run these projects and folder. Go run main.go. I'm going to have, let's do that. Yeah. The only difference I see between, if you are familiar with Go, we're using FMT. Actually, it has they both have the same functionality. The only thing for log is that it added the timestamp, which means the date where your displays shows in the console. So that's the only difference. So now in this stage we have our project that runs. So let's create our Go mod file, which we made Go init. Go mod init, and we give it a name, github.com ease of programming, yeah, and CRUD API. Yeah, as you see, we have our Go mod file created with version of Go 1.20. So we have now everything set up. The next thing we're going to do is create our user model. User.go is a model which will contain the definition of our user in the package main. Yeah, package main, and type. We are going to create a new type, user. It's going to be a struct. Let's define our struct. If you saw in demonstration, we have our user. We have the simplest user ever. We have the ID. It's going to be an integer, and we have first name, first name, which is a string, and last name, which is string as well. Let's format that. Alright, so we need to add some tagging for our model to be shown in our JSON responses. So we do that by doing double quotes, this simple code. We do JSON, and we define the ID. It's going to display like this. If you want, you display it like this, user with ID. So it's up to you. Yeah. JSON double quotes. Okay. First name. Keep up. It's a keep up. No. All right. JSON. Double quote. Last name. Yeah. Everything looks good for now. And also in our model, we are going to create a function that starts that seeds our project with the number of users we want. So I'm going to create a func. I will name it CreateUser, okay, or CreateUsers, and it will accept the count of user we want to create, and it will return a slice of user. All right. First thing I'm gonna do here is to declare users as a slice of user, yeah, and then we're gonna loop for I equal 0 to I smaller than the count. All right, and then I plus. Let's do this, and we're gonna do something. We're gonna append for each users. It helps in VS Code. It helps you to append the to easy write your code. So this is the portion of code we're gonna use, and we're gonna create a user like this. For the ID, let's give it I+1, and for the first name, are going to create a string that will contain something that has meaning. So in my case, I will use fmt package with string formatter. It's printf. So here I'm going to first name with ID, which is I+1, to avoid having 0. And the other one is the same thing. I'm going to copy this part of code, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. All right, and L name, which is last name, and last thing, yep. I'm going to first name and last name, like this. So this last thing I'm going to do is return our slice of users, return users. Yeah, so everything looks good. The other thing are going to, so this part is done, and the other thing I'm going to do is to create our server. Let's name it server.go. As I mentioned, everything it's gonna be in the package main, package main, right? Package main. Yeah. So the first thing you're gonna do in the package main is to create a type with server, which names server type server. It's gonna be structure. This struct or this type, this server struct is gonna hold all many parameters in future, but for now it's gonna hold only the address where our server will be launching, starting. So you're gonna add type with address. It's gonna be type string. All right. So the second thing we're gonna do is to start our create a function that starts our server. So we're gonna make a function with name it start. It's gonna receive as a parameter the address as a string, and it's going to return a pointer to our server. All right. So then we're going to return pointer of our server like this, and the address gonna be address. All right. Actually, this is not start. We are going to start our project. We are not going to name it start, or name it new server like this, new server, which will initialize our structure with the address that we are going to give as a parameter and return that server. So the next thing we're going to do is start function, which start our server. So we're going to do func, which is a method as a receiver, our server pointer of our server. Name it start, and it will have no parameters, only it will return error if there is any error. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to declare a global variable var like this for users. It's gonna be a slice of users. This is a slice of user. This is the seed. When we start our server, we are going to use this function to create fake users only for demonstration. So the first thing we're going to do is to create to use this users we declared in the start of our package, and going to have our create users. How many users we want to create? Let's say 5. So we have our users, and this means this error it said user declared and not used. As you know, Go is type strict, so each variable you create, you need to use it. So we have users. In this stage, we are going to use a package. The only package we are going to use is Mux, which is a stable package, and to avoid us to do some verifications of our URLs, it helps a lot. So we are going to create a router from the package Mux. Yeah, new router. All right. So VS Code, it's good in terms of importing packages that you are using. So here, Mux stands for GitHub.com from Gorilla Mux, and then as I mentioned, this is the starting of our projects. So we are going to use the router. Then, so we have router. dot handle func, handle func. All right, handle func. I don't know why it doesn't show the functions, so I need to do something. Go mode td. This is imported, but all right, now it works. If I do handle func, this is where we are defining our routes. The first one is gonna be GetUsers, and goes from the function GetUsers with the method get, and the other one is GetUserByID user, and this is how we define by ID. We mentioned it. GetUserByID. It's a get method, so we need to define those functions. Don't worry. And the last one is DeleteUserByID. Delete a user. Let's say DeleteUser. All right. The method is delete, and other one is EditUser, which is method is put, and the last one is CreateUser. So we will not need the ID, just create a user, which will be post. All right, so let's comment this. All right, no problem. So let's do something like this. Comment. So now we are defined our functions. So let's display message when the server is start. fmt dot println stands for, let's do some stars here. All right. Yeah. So we have our we need to start our server. So yeah, we are going to say the server started at, let's display the address, which is s.address. All right, everything looks good for now for me. Let's return the http dot listen and serve, which will have the address s.address and router. Yep. So the next thing we're going to do is define our function that will returns whenever a user hits the GetUsers with method get, gonna return the users. So we're gonna create func GetUsers, and this one will have two parameters: is HTTP response writer and R as a pointer to HTTP dot request. Okay. So the only thing is gonna return a users. So we need to make JSON, a new encoder, which accepts the response writer and encode our users. All right, but before that we need to say that we have an error here. This is not a new users. We need to use these users, so we just need to do it like this. So let's say for the writer that we need JSON response, header and set, which has key value of content type application JSON. Yeah, I think we are ready to test this, but before we need to instead of doing hello world, we need to create a new server. We need to do server which is new server, and which address we're gonna run this in 8080. All right. Yeah, so now we have our server started at 8080. So if there is an error, we need to log our error fatal, and we have server dot start. Yep, I think we are ready to test this. Let's test this to go on main.go. New server, undefined new server, which it's good to have those errors. Yes, we have new server. Yep, server function new server with address returns server. Yep. Package main. And define new server. Let's try again. I need to debug this. Yes, so when we were trying to run our server, we need to, if we want to run all the files in our package, we need to do go run dot, not only main, so dot, because the main is the start point, but dot, which will consider all the files. All right, I think this should be working. All right, we have server start at 8080. So next thing I'm gonna do is to go to our Postman and alright, save changes. We have to create everything from scratch. Alright, let's forget about this one, and we will create a new collection, and we will name it CRUD API. As simple as this. First thing I'm gonna do is create the first request, add request, which gets all users. So users. So I have already created an environment variable here, base URL, which contains the local host environment with the port. So to avoid typing the same thing, and if we want to change the port in the future, we only change the environment variable. So I'll do like this, base URL and /users. Yeah, I think everything should be working. Get set. Et voila, we have 5 users. Yeah, so let's save this, and next thing I'm gonna do, let's keep this aside. The next thing I'm gonna do is GetUserByID. So we're gonna move this one to here and it's a func GetUserByID. As usual, we have a writer, which is http.response_writer, and a pointer to request, http.request. So in this stage, we are going to use our mux. So the first thing we're going to do is trying to read the ID, because GetUserByID is gonna pass the ID of the user we want to return. So for that, we need to create vars contains the mux dot vars and accept the request. Is gonna read from request variables, and we have the ID. Gonna get vars. It's an array. Gonna have the ID. So the only issue, the issue here is that this one gonna be a string, and our ID here is an integer. So we need to convert this ID to an integer. So to do so, we have a package string convert. This one with parameter a2. This one a2 integer, and let's pass this one. Yeah, so this function returns to actually two parameters: the actual ID, the integer, and an error. Whenever there is error, we need to capture that error. So if there is error, if error it's different to null, nil. So what we're gonna do is to panic with error to see what is the error. Else, if there is nothing, there's no error, gonna do is to loop from our users to for. We have we have index and user branch users. So to check if u.id equal that ID, what we do is return. We need to return that user, but before that we need to do something to format our response, as we did in the GetUsers. We need to we just copy this one. I don't like to copy paste. I like to write everything, so to get familiar with error typing and so. So we have this user, this one, and stop the loop to return. So if not, there is no, actually we don't use this index, we can ignore this index. If there is no user with ID given, we need to return an error, http dot errors error with response writer we have in the parameter and the message you want to pass. Let's say something like this: fmt dot sprintf user with ID not found. Yeah, and ID here. The last parameter is HTTP status. For not found, we need to do HTTP dot status not found. Yeah, I think we are ready to test this one. Yeah. All right. Whenever you made any changes in the code, or you need to stop the server and start again. Yep. So we have we created the users, so we need to create another request. Just duplicate this one and call it only user, like this, and are going to do like this user, and we pass the ID, let's say 1. Alright, let's save this. Okay, here we go, we have the ID 1. Let's do the ID 10. Yeah, user with ID 10 not found. Let's do 4. Yeah, it works. Awesome. Next thing we're gonna do, let's is delete. Going to do this. Alright, okay. DeleteUser. So function func delete user, gonna have as parameter writer http.response writer, and actually r as pointer to http.request. So we have delete. The first thing we're gonna do is to get, as we did here, let's copy this part. We get the ID that we need. Alright, and then we need to do the same thing as here. Let's do this, copy this part, all this part. Paste it here. Yeah, so in this case, whenever there is, we found the exact match, what we're gonna do is remove that user from the user's slice. User, gonna do like this. This is the code that we need to do. We need to put whenever we want to remove an index from the slice. Well, we have index. We need to, in this case, we need the index, and remove the users starting from that index. Users, no. Index plus 1 and continue. Yep. So now we have removed the user with the given ID, and we need to write a response, which is 204. We do like this, write header, and status is 204. And what is the response? Yeah, we need to, we are not going to return the user. We are actually going to return a message, which is, as we did before, fmt.sprintf. Gonna say user with ID T was deleted. Okay, and here the ID, and return if not, there is no user with that ID. Yeah, let's try this. We have no errors. We have user by ID, delete. Alright, let's stop the server or C and start again. Alright, let's grab our Postman. Let's duplicate this one. Duplicate. In this case, we're gonna do GetUser, but the method will be delete. Alright, let's save this. Let's see our users. We have all our users from 1 to 5. Let's remove 4, user number 4. There we go. We have the response 204, and let's check. There's no user 4. Still like this. Alright, everything works fine. What's missing? Yeah, we need to the edit stuff. It's self-explanatory, so just follow my method. You're gonna learn a lot of stuff. So before I continue, if you like my videos, just please consider like this video or share it with somebody that you think is gonna help in process of learning Go. Also, if you know, in YouTube there is if you have a lot of subscribers, it helps the channel to show more to new people. So if you are not yet subscribed, just subscribe to our channel, and there is a lot of tutorials like this in the future I'm going to share with you. So yeah, this is a good favor for me if you do so. So the next thing I'm gonna do is edit user. So as we did before, func edit user, can now have writer http dot response writer and request pointer to http dot request. Yeah, as you see here, the first thing we're gonna do is to write. In this case, we need a request. We need to read from request. What we are going to read is the payload, or the object that will be sent by the user, and then we need to read the ID and make the modifications to the user. So the first thing we're going to do is to read from the body. So let's declare a body, and here's a package to read from the body. It's read all from request.body. Body. All right. We have a request from request body. Yeah. It's just this is processing the body, so there's no problem here. Gonna fix. Yeah. The first, second thing I'm gonna do is to declare a user, var user type user. All right, and we are going to unmarshal the body to the user. To do so, do JSON dot unmarshal our body to the pointer of user. Yep. So we have this. We have our body, which is the user. Yep. Second thing we're gonna do is, like we did before, is getting the ID from the request using Mux. All right, we have the ID, and then we need to range. Let's do this. Copy all of this. Yep. We need to range from user if the user is the ID. Not doing the edit. I'm not doing this. We're going to do users with index first name. Gonna be what is that? User first name and last name. Gonna user last name. Alright, so for whenever there is edit, yes, that's checking if everything is good. Yep. Let's remove this one. Whenever there is an edit, application JSON, and we will return actual user, not this one. So users. We are not going to return the user because it doesn't have the ID, so we are going to return this one, users, that has the ID. Alright, if there is nothing, so if there is no user, the given user ID, it's not exists, gonna run this stuff. Okay, let's do this. Stop. Sometimes it blocks. Oh no, it doesn't block. The issue here is that this method It returns an error. So if there is error, and it's not body, it's body matches. So if error not nil, only panic with error. Okay. Yeah, I think everything looks good. What's next? So before testing that, let's do create so we can test everything at once. Yeah. Func create user writer HTTP response writer, and request is a pointer to http.request. Yeah, we need to create, so we need to do the same as we did here and marshal the body. Yeah, this is simple. And marshal the body, so if there is no error, what we're gonna do is users equal append user with the user. But before that, we need to add the ID, because the user is not going to pass the ID, so this should be automatically auto increment. So user dot ID gonna do just simple VLAN of users plus one. This is not the best solution, but it works. So we have create user, we have create user, we have edit user, and everything else. So let's start again our project, our server, and see what that shows us. Let's do with create user. Let's do, for example, 4. Yeah, let's copy this payload because we need that payload. So we have here user, get users. Let's copy this one. Duplicate. It's gonna be, let's name it user as this, and it's a post, so we are going to create the body. It's gonna be a row of type JSON, not text, JSON, and copy without the ID. So we're going to, if you see here, we have users, 5 users. I need to add one more user. Is of what? Programming. Post user, not users, user. Right, let's save that. All right. It says user went successful user, but we need to return the user. User created, whatever is create. Yeah, we need to return. I thought I finished. So let's copy this part from here. All right, and users. Let's do again. Alright, create. Alright, we have all users. Actually, we are not going to return all users, only the user created. So, which is user. In this case, only user. Run. Yeah, did. Oh my god, it took almost 1 hour to this tutorial, but it's worth it. Alright, we have users. Let's see all our users. Let's create a new user. Alright, this is new user with 6 is of programming. And what we did before, we did also edit. So let's edit a user. Let's edit the one we just created, which is number 6. Not delete, no, not this one. We need to create another one, which is put. Okay, let's duplicate this one. Duplicate and name it user. Alright, with method put and method 6, and the body is gonna row JSON, and we do test. No. User, copy this one, copy and put here without the ID, and test or test 2. It's a John 2 or something like that. Put edit body 6. Alright, it doesn't return the new. What happens here? User, let's see, users 6. Nope. What happens here? Edit. Let's debug this. Yeah. Edit. So first name. We have the user. Yeah, so I found the error is here. I'm not going to pass the same value. I'm doing this, it's passing the same value. I'm going to use this one, user. So user, it should be working. Control C and run. So what I did here, yeah, getting all users. I will create a new user, ease of programming, and I will edit that user, the last one, ease of programming, by John Doe. Alright, yep, that works. Let's see. Alright, let's delete user 6 was deleted. Let's check. Yep. So yep, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope this tutorial helps you to understand how to create a small microservices. We name it microservices. It should do something micro work like this, and we didn't use any package, any extra package like Jane or Gorilla or others. We only used Mux, is a simple package, and only used the Golang language, native Golang language. So thank you for watching, and I know this is a long tutorial, but I will be doing my best to keep it short, but it's worth it, and see you in the next video or tutorial. Thank you for watching.